Okay, YouTube. I'm not even gonna make this formal. So, as y'all can see, I am still struggling. Um, I'm about to have a raw moment, a very raw moment, because for the longest time, I have wanted to be transparent about my situation, mainly because I started to notice that there are people I attract who genuinely target me because they think my life is something that it's not. Now, the reason I've always just allowed people to believe what they want to believe is because in the past, when I've tried to express what's really going on in my life, a lot of things have gone on behind the scenes that have made me scared. Not gonna lie. And not scared for my life, but unfortunately, the way my life has gone, I have always been tied to other people for my livelihood. And it's more so been a mental and emotional thing, but it has always been better to keep my mouth shut than to try to expose what's happening. To make it short, though, I have dealt with narcissistic abuse my entire life. And unfortunately, not knowing that throughout my life has led me to do things out of reaction that make it harder for people to actually believe me or understand that I am legitimately in a narcissistic abusive situation and have been pretty much my entire life. What has also made it difficult is my tendency to want to protect those people, protect their reputation, protect their image. Because unfortunately, they tend to treat everybody else so much better. I've had to deal with trying to figure out if I am experiencing what I think I'm experiencing. It's just been really psychologically and emotionally draining for me to deal with what I'm dealing with, because the people have been so covert. They have been able to put a smoke screen over the situation so that anything I say seems unreal. And it started when I was a child and I was defenseless. So it's really difficult to actually be able to express what's happening and be believed. And what's also unfortunate is I'm still not going to go into detail or just completely talk down on these people, because throughout my journey, I've understood, or I've gained understanding of how people get there, how people get to that point of abusing other people. It's not an excuse for those people, because everybody at the end of the day has a choice. there's some pivotal moment for everyone where they made the decision to be those people. But to be honest, it does not make me feel better to demonize them, because regardless of me demonizing them or not, it's still my situation. Add to that the way this world operates, and it feels like it's just a lose-lose battle in this life, being someone who actually cares about people, while also understanding the importance of caring about yourself. This centering self journey has made me realize that throughout my life, people have convinced me, I have allowed people to convince me that my understanding of self-love and self-care was just selfish. To the point that they were able to gain a level of control over me through emotional, mental, financial manipulation. And convince me to convince myself that it's okay to drain myself for other people. So now I'm in a situation where I could really use the type of support and the type of love I've given other people. But it's hard for me to ask for it. It's hard for me to accept it when it's offered to me. And it's hard for me to want to leave the people behind who don't align with that. And that's a crappy place to be in. That's a really crappy place to be in. However, me also being me, what I understand about everything I just said, the narcissistic abuse, the needing help, the being manipulated and tricked and allowing people to do those things, it's all a part of this life's journey. I am in the process of fading out the use of AI, because I have family who lives in Memphis and I just would rather not contribute to them potentially getting sick. But something that AI said when I had a more spiritual conversation with it, before this update, by the way, it said, what if what we experience isn't meant for a soul to observe so it can fix it? What if the solutions and the problems are all a part of the soul's journey, and the purpose of it is to just sit in it? The purpose of it is to just experience it so the soul knows how it feels. It's not about fixing it, solving it, or getting out of it, but actually sitting in it with no expectation of an outcome, basically. I hope that made sense, because I'm really just venting and babbling right now, because it's just a lot going on in the world, within me, without me, and I had to get some stuff out. But yeah, what if the purpose of some of this suffering isn't to figure out how to fix it, but just to sit in it so the soul can know how it feels. What I said to that is, it sounds like we're just AI to the soul then, because we feed AI information just to see. We feed AI information just to see what they do with it, or see what happens without an expectation of outcome all the time. So it sounds no different to me. And it sucks to be the human body that has to experience that, because people will tell you, well, just detach from it. You're not actually the body. But if I am soul and soul created this character, I am actually the body. Even if I'm just a projection, even if I'm just a simulation, even if I'm just AI, I still am the body. So to say detach from it and just let the soul do what it does feels kind of crappy, if I'm being honest. It feels kind of crappy. But underneath the crappy feeling, I am able to accept that, well, if that's how it is, that's just how it is. Like, at a certain juncture, I've come to realize being mad at things that I can't change only takes energy away from things that I can change. So, yeah, I can't give y'all details of my situation. I don't think I would if I could, to be honest, because of what I said earlier. Like, even though it's not an excuse, you see all the butterflies? Even though it's not an excuse for people to treat other people the way I've been treated and the way I've treated people, having an explanation works for me, because at the end of the day, I'm most concerned about myself. I'm most concerned about the character I develop. I am most concerned about how I choose to react to things and who I choose to be. I don't really care to dwell on who other people choose to be, because again, that's another thing that's out of my control. And I think that's where I'm going to end this video, because I feel better now. The last thing I do want to talk about, though, which probably going to take another 10 minutes, is this centering self journey has turned out to be highly spiritual. And it's taken me a while to make a video, because I really am trying to get to a place of making this about me, to be the example people need if this is the journey they decide to take. But the reality is, there are some things that are just what they are. If you decide to take a centering self journey, don't do that, baby. Don't do that. Stop. If you decide to take a centering self journey, it is going to be spiritual, because you have no choice but to go within. You have no choice but to face what's within you, so you can understand what's outside of you. And there's no way around it, in my opinion. There is no way around it. There's no external fixes you can make that will actually give you the fullness of this centering self journey. You're going to have to face some hard truths about yourself. You're going to have to face some hard truths about people you love, people you care about, people you look up to. You're going to have to make some hard decisions about those things if you want to have the fullness of the journey. Because centering self is radical. You can only center yourself or center something else. You cannot center yourself and something else. Everything either has to revolve around you in a healthy way, or you have to revolve around something else in an unhealthy way. And that's just the reality I've come to on this journey. So thank y'all for listening. I may or may not make another video later. Just to be honest though, my ego is definitely crumbling. So I will likely have more videos like this that kind of go more into the things I'm talking about when it comes to facing self. Because one thing that has been the hardest for me on this journey is I don't like being in the energy of pointing fingers without taking accountability for my stuff. There are certain things that have happened in my life that you'll never hear me blame or shame other people for, because I know what I did. Relationships with men is one of the biggest ones. You can hear me talk about how I've observed men to be, but you'll never hear me blame men in my personal life for anything. Well, I can't say never, because there are situations where I was naive, I was gullible, I was clueless, and people took advantage. So I can't say that, I can't say never. But for the most part, you won't hear me talk about men in my personal life in that way, because of what I just said. I cannot bring myself to focus on what others have done without taking full accountability for what I have done or not done. And I don't think that's ever going to change in me, mainly because, again, like I said before, if I can't control it, I don't want to put energy into it. I can't control what other people have decided to do to me, regardless of if I did it to them, I did something to them, or they were just being that kind of person. It's just not something that I find practical, honestly. And that was my cue. So thank y'all for watching. I'll see y'all in the next video. Love y'all. Be good to one another, but most importantly, be good to yourselves. Mwah.